North Dakota of Worldviews Media. We're here again with Randall Carlson, and he's going to be joining us April 19th through the 24th for Earth Origin 6. And the theme this year is energy and consciousness. Randall's going to be bringing a unique discussion to the table. For several years now, he's been behind the scenes for a project with Malcolm Bendall's thunderstorm generators. So you're going to be presenting Plasmoid updates. Could you expand on that a little bit, Randall?
Sure. Well, there's been a number of things going on over the past year, and I'm trying to keep up with all the developments. They're fast developing new things happening here, so I'm trying to keep up with all of that. And so I'm going to be talking about that some, and providing updates and trying to explain some of the background and some of the science of it as best as I can understand it. And I'm still, like a lot of people here, I'm still learning. It's a rather mysterious process, I'll have to confess. And there's a lot of head scratching about trying to come up with different ideas of how it works. So I'll be talking about that and getting into the idea. I think we've got, William Henry is going to be talking about plasma and some of the interesting developments in plasma physics. So I'll be talking about that some and trying to show how potentially plasma might have been at the foundation of ancient science and was lost, and how it got lost and how it might have been implemented. And so we'll be talking about some of that, and then maybe tying that in with some of the other ideas like earth energies and, like you said, consciousness. And the idea here is that, we may also be, even prior to being physical beings made out of solid matter, we might be plasma beings. And plasma might be a way, provide a vehicle for consciousness and intelligence. There may even be some links, for example, with the crop circle phenomena. So yeah, I'm going to bring in some of that. I'm still, devising the full content that I'm going to be getting into. And as we go forward and I get a little bit better understanding of what some of the other speakers are presenting, I'm going to try to tailor mine a little bit so that we can get kind of a comprehensive theme uniting all of these various perspectives on this new knowledge, which I think has the potential to change the world in the next few years, which would be a good thing, in my opinion, because we're essentially we're sort of at a crossroads. That's how I think. We're at a crossroads, and one leads to infinite potential for evolution and an upward arc of evolution. The other one leads to oblivion. And right now, the vested power structure is taking us down the road to endless conflict, endless war, and it's ultimately over competition for resources. And I will talk about that a little bit. I don't intend to get into geopolitics very deeply, but part of what we're doing, Robert, I think, is trying to provide a new paradigm so we can change the direction of planetary evolution and where civilization goes from here. Are we going to be a successful civilization, or are we going to go like so many civilizations have gone before us and met their demise through a variety of various types of catastrophes? So I think the plasma science holds out tremendous potential for launching a new industrial revolution that could alleviate the pressures to, compete for what are conceived to be finite, dwindling resources of Earth. So, yeah, I think that what we're doing here, Robert, I kind of see as kind of another link in this chain of laying down the foundation stones for a new paradigm of civilization on Earth, if I want to put it that way. Um, so we're going to be looking at cutting edge things leading into our future, but then I'm going to try to tie it back and make the case that this technology may have been utilized by our ancestors long ago in the past. So that's kind of where we're going to be going with this.
And this energy technology that you've been associated with, it's given you the perception that perhaps this is one of the ways they were cutting heavy stones. Is that correct?
Perhaps. Now, I'm not going to claim that I've got any final knowledge of the exact technology by which they did that. However, there are certain indications that would suggest that somewhere within this realm is what was being employed in order to cut and even transport very large stones and heavy masses. I'll just do a quick share screen here, if that's all right, Robert. Let's see if I can
Sure.
do that. Let's see if it comes up here. All right, let's look at this. All right. Are you seeing this? Indra wielding the Vajra?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are depictions, the Vedic tradition of ancient India, and we got a couple of different ways here. We've got Indra here. Notice in the right hand, here's one depiction of the Vajra. And here's another depiction of the Vajra right here. Now, the Vajra was a tool, what's sometimes described as a weapon, and the most powerful weapon in the universe. And not only was it wielded by Indra, but if we come forward here, it was also, several thousand years later, wielded by Zeus, hurling the thunderbolt. And this is the same tool, if you want to call it that, or weapon, as Indra holds here. Another image of Zeus holding a Vajra, a spiral form of the thunderbolt generator. And here is the Vajra, and you'll notice the spiral form. There's a reason for that. It's because plasma energy, under certain circumstances and given certain ambient geomagnetic fields, will self-cohere into a torus. And in the opening at the top and the bottom of the torus, there will be a vortex of spiraling electrons and ions that are the source of the power of a plasma field. And so we'll be getting into that somewhat and showing how there seems to be an interesting correlation between some of the imagery from the ancient past and what we're learning about plasma energy and the control and the influence of plasma energy. So we'll be getting into some of this kind of stuff to try to provide a background to people, for people to understand this. And what I'm hoping is that out of this, and this seems to be evolving, is that we get a lot of independent researchers looking into this with a lot of different perspectives and points of view and interpretations of what actually is going on
Mm-hmm.
with this plasma energy and how best and most effectively to utilize this energy. So that's part of what I'm going to try to do here with this,
Yeah.
and it's happening. It's happening as we speak. That there are independent researchers around the planet who are picking this thing up and exploring the possibilities here. So it's exciting stuff, Robert.
Yeah, and that toroidal energy or structure is related in a great deal to Marco Rodin's vortex math.
I'm sure it is. From what I've seen of Marco's work, I would be convinced that that's the truth, but I would not yet claim any proficiency at expounding on Marco's math.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet anyway. So
Yeah.
there are industrial scale applications of this technology being implemented now as we speak. And so that's part of the update that we're going to be talking about, and some of the test results that are going on in various parts now around the world. And it's exciting stuff. So,
Yeah, I remember about 4 years ago, you told me, you gave me heads up that it was coming down the pike, but it was under the hat. It's really amazing to see it, getting proof of concept and coming forward.
yes, I agree. So that's just a little sneak preview of what I'm going to be exploring. And again, I'm learning like a lot of other people, and there are different points of view on this. And I don't think we've reached a consensus yet as to exactly what's happening with the phenomena that's associated with the plasma systems. But you know, like anything, I mean, go back to say the 1880s when and 1890s and early 19th, early 20th century when alternating current electricity was just being developed. And a lot of people still to this day, what really is happening? Do we really know what electricity is? Well, maybe not in the most fundamental sense, but we can still utilize it. And when like alternating current electricity was first being developed and explored and tested, I mean, who could even begin to have imagined the applications that would evolve over the next 100 years of electricity? So this is kind of in that same type of a germinal stage that the the potential of this is wide open. So we'll just see where it goes in the next 5 to 10 years. It may even have some pretty profound health and medical applications, besides just being able to make our energy systems much more efficient than they are. And we'll talk a little bit about that, how these the applications work. How, for example, like right now, there's several people building and testing the technology to be used on automobiles that would capture all of the effluents coming out of the exhaust and recycling them, taking the waste energy and recycling it, and thereby increasing massively the efficiency of any engine or generator that's based on fossil fuels.
Yeah, which would be a pollution saver, but also financial saver, and could bring a lot of efficiency and make it a
Yeah,
lot more affordable for people in very rural areas.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so Freddie's going to bring in the temples and what temples are for, and sometimes when I look at them, especially with the steeples, are like an antenna,
Like
and they're oftentimes placed over bodies of water, and there's electromagnetic energies associated with them. Do you think the potential in the past that the pyramids and other sacred sites around the world could have been energy generators?
I think that that's where we're going with this thing. I think we might actually be looking at the remnants, the ruins of a planetary energy generating system that was based upon the fusion of terrestrial energies and celestial energies. And like you said, the temples, uh, I'm sure Freddie's work probably ties right in with this. That again, that the sacred structures of old and the sacred sites, I think they were all linked as part of a potentially, and this is a hypothesis to be tested, right? That they were linked in a planetary system of energy generation. Um, and a lot of this work, like Malcolm's work, uh, has its roots back in things that Nikola Tesla was doing. And there's been a whole succession of inventors and scientists and engineers and things that have been working with this since Tesla's time and coming up with some variable results. But there seems to be a unified ideas that are connecting a lot of this stuff. And that's where hopefully we're going to go with it, as long as the powers that be don't decide to try to suppress it, which there's evidence that they've been doing for a long time.
Yeah,
But at
for
this
sure.
point, the cat, it might be too late. The cat might be out of the bag, and it might be impossible to bottle it up again.
Well, that would be good news, and a good way to get people involved is the young guy who has alchemical science, the YouTube influencer
Jordan Collin, yeah.
Jordan Collin. Yeah, we'll give him a shout out and direct people towards him because he's bringing people together
Yeah,
along with the Tesla group and some of the groups that are following Marco Roden are
yeah.
chipping in and joining in to, you know, get the word out.
Yeah. And a lot of sort of backyard engineers and mechanics and stuff, this technology can across the spectrum, from, like I said, from a simple backyard mechanic up to, very elaborate, sophisticated and expensive industrial applications. And I showed you one image I pulled up quickly did show an industrial application that's being tested right now in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Martin Gray is going to give us a spectacular view of sacred sites from around the world. He has a new book out called Secret Sacred Sites. So he's gonna be sharing some imagery that people may have not ever seen before, and he's gonna give some spectacular reviews on how these sites are meant to be used, if they're masculine, feminine, their energetic properties, all the different, you know, backgrounds to it. So I think people will get a whole new picture on sacred sites and what they represent energetically and consciously.
And at this point, I think we can actually pose the question, what exactly is it that makes a sacred site sacred?
Yeah.
And it looks like it could be that sacred sites are nodal points within a network of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're finding out now is that the plasmoids have potentially major biological and medical applications, and probably spiritual as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like a lot of this energy, high architecture, advanced civilizations, superior potential comes from the ancients, and there's relevant evidence that says that we have the potential to go farther than we've gone so far.
Farther than we've gone so far. And then there's the question of why we have these interruptions and these setbacks.
Mm.
And I'll probably kind of get into a discussion of that to some extent, because that's important. Because there have been, I think that what we're looking at now is, we're getting a new model of history. And we know now that we modern humans have been around for a pretty long time. And I try to go the most conservative route, which is that what hard evidence, primarily in the form of skeletal remains, do we have that modern humans, meaning just like us, have been on this planet? And we're, going back to 180 to 200,000 years now. It looks like there's evidence that modern humans might have been here. And how much longer than that, we don't really know. I mean, there are claims made, but again, I take the conservative route and go, well, what can we actually substantiate with hard evidence? And when you consider that a couple of 100,000 years at 25 years a generation, I think we're looking at about 7,000 generations. And
Wow.
there's a whole lot of the human story on Earth that's missing. And there's a reason for that. And I think Plato nailed it when he talks in his two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, about why things get lost, because there are these intermittent catastrophes. And the question is when a catastrophic event happens on a global scale, are civilizations in a position of adaptability, or do they succumb to the changes? And that's an important theme of what I've been working on for years and years. And I will be tying that into my conversation, my presentation, is that what do we need to do as an emerging civilization on a global scale to maximize the probabilities that we are going to be successful, that what we're creating is going to be sustainable and enduring and long lasting, and not go the route of many of the ancient cultures that essentially got wiped out. And I think the insight to take away is that, you know, the Hopi Indians, I think, had it down pretty much when they said that, you know, the catastrophes come when mankind forgets or neglects the plan of the creator. So there is the idea there, and then many indigenous peoples from around the world and many traditions have this idea, this belief that we're here for a specific purpose. And if we get so wrapped up in the trivia of our day-to-day existence that we fail to see the big picture, that's when we become vulnerable. We are, all the signs would indicate that we are at that junction of the crossroads. And which route we go is still up for grabs. Many people are waking up, but there's still too many people sleepwalking and heavily invested in obsolete political systems that is going to prevent them from seeing what really the potential of our future is. So
yeah, well, Sasha Stone, I think you're going to enjoy as well, because he's been an international activist at really high level. He's established a property that, you know, you were thinking about establishing, like a sanctuary he's had going in Bali, Indonesia for 18 years. And he's got another property that they're working on down in Mexico with more than 1,000 acres.
wow.
So I think you guys will have some good things to talk about and crossovers when you meet here in April. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I always enjoy coming out to the Sedona area. It's just so incredibly beautiful and inspiring. I always come back in from my Sedona sojourns invigorated. Yeah, when we'll look at, you and I will get together and look at some special sites that we might include in an itinerary.
Okay. Sounds great, Randall.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Plasmoid energy updates. I think that's going to be fascinating. I've seen your slideshow before, and the connection to mythology, the ancient world, and consciousness overall. I think it's going to be an exciting way to start the weekend. So thank you for bringing this to the table, Randall.
You're welcome, Robert. It's always fun and enlightening.
Yeah.
Earth origins events. Yeah. Well, we've explored some really incredible places. Yeah, I mean, Prophecy Rock, that was amazing. Like to get back there again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be conferring here in the next couple of days about where we might go after the conference.
Okay. Sounds great, Randall.
All right.
Yeah, always good talking to you.
Likewise, Robert.